Okay, I see everyone coming in. Thank you, everyone. Welcome. It's so nice to see you all here today. Thank you for joining us for the very first of a new programming series for 2021 at the National Aging in Place Council. This is called the Hidden Gems of Aging, and we are going to focus this year on little known or unknown products and services that help make aging a little bit easier for seniors. So just to get started, every presenter today will have 15 minutes. We have 3 presenters. I'll just be hanging out watching the chat box. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in there. And at the end of the presentation, if we have time, I will read those back to the presenters. If we don't get to your question, don't worry, because you will have the option of spending a little bit more time with each person in a breakout room. Hopefully, this is the first time we've done this, so hopefully you all will be able to manually choose which room that you go into so you can learn a little bit more. Or for those of you who are aging services professionals and would like to learn more about the Aging in Place Council, I will be in a 4th room that you can go chat with me in there. So we have a lot of information. I'm going to get it going with Lisa. Lisa helps seniors with life insurance policies that they don't know what to do with. So I will turn it right over to Lisa. Thanks for joining us today.
And thank you so much. I'm just going to share my screen here. There we go. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. I really do appreciate it. And we are just going to jump right into a topic that you may not know about called life insurance settlements. So this is about life insurance, but kind of sort of not really. And it's another way to help fund aging in place costs. So let's just jump right in. My name is Lisa Rayberg, as Tara said. I'm president of Rayberg Life Insurance Settlements. I've been in the insurance industry for 30 years, and I am completely passionate about life insurance settlements. And this first slide is exactly the reason why. So more than 500,000 seniors a year will lapse their life insurance policies. Now, what in the world does lapse mean? It means that they just let it go. They stop making the premium payments and let it go. And they do that because they no longer want the policy, no longer need the policy, maybe they can't afford the policy, and they just don't know there's another option. And a life insurance settlement is that option. So take a look at how many took advantage of a life insurance settlement. That's 1,250 when the study was done. Last year, it was about 2,500. My point is there's a really big gap between the number of seniors lapsing their policies, or what I call throwing them out and walking with nothing, and the number that take advantage of a life settlement. But 90% of them said had they known about a life insurance settlement, they would have at least considered it. So this is what this is about, is just raising visibility that there's options here in case it can be a good fit for you, your family, or clients. So what is this thing called the life insurance settlement? It literally is a financial transaction. So think about your life insurance policy as an asset that you own, because it is. Think about it like your car, think about it like your house. It's another asset you own. And a life settlement is just a financial transaction in which a policyholder sells their policy for cash. So client receives cash. The buyer becomes the new owner and the new beneficiary on the policy. They'll also pay the premiums. And the buyers, by the way, are not your next door neighbor. These are investor groups. So this is Wall Street money who is looking to buy these policies. So it works out really well when we've got a supply of policies that people no longer need, right? 500,000 a year. There has to be a demand, and those investor groups are that demand, and that's what makes the market go. So why would anyone want to sell their life insurance policy? That's kind of crazy, right? Not really. And here's the reason why. Because once again, 500,000. But what happens is when we buy life insurance 10, 20, 30 years ago, the reason we bought the policy may no longer be an issue today. Maybe my spouse has passed away. Maybe I have sold my business. Maybe I've sold rental properties and I had life insurance to cover my rental properties and I don't need it anymore. Maybe I'm retiring and I don't need the policy anymore. Maybe my estate tax liabilities are just not there anymore, because with the Tax Cut and Jobs Act of 2017, estate tax exemptions doubled. So people who bought policies to pay estate taxes may not need them anymore. I see number 4 a lot. Term policies, they're about to come to the end, or are their conversion privileges coming to the end? People are like, I don't need this thing anymore. My house is paid off. Why do I need this policy? I'm not going to continue it. People retire. Maybe the premiums don't fit in their budget. We've got a client right now with $1 million policy. She has $2,500 a month of income, and the policy premium is $1,000 a month on that policy. So, and she lost her husband 4 years ago. Why does she still need this policy? Take it, sell it, do better things with the money. Policy is no longer affordable, so we've talked about that. Or a chronic illness. Maybe someone needs to find ways to age in place, do home modifications, assisted living, home care, any of those. This can be another funding mechanism. That's what we're talking about here, right? This is another funding mechanism to help people pay for their long-term care needs and be able to age in place comfortably. So all different types of policies can be sold. There isn't one type of policy that can't be sold. And to be more definitive, there's basically 2 different types of life insurance policies. One is called term. The other one is a category called permanent policies. And a term is exactly what it sounds like. It's kind of like renting versus owning. Term policies, you have coverage for a certain amount of time. So if you have a 20-year term policy on 20 years and 1 day, you no longer have coverage. So term policies tend to be a little bit cheaper because they don't end. Permanent policies are like universal life and whole life. They don't end as long as you continue to make the premium payments. And what happens in these types of permanent policies is there's also a savings component that we call cash value. So a little industry lingo here. It's called cash value. Literally is a savings component. So you're going to pay more for a universal life or whole life in terms of premiums, but you're gonna get a policy that doesn't end, and you're gonna get a policy that has those cash values and those premiums, the savings component building up in that policy over time. So the bottom line here though is, any type of policy has the opportunity to be sold. It just depends upon the parameters of the client and the client's policy, but any type of policy can be sold. So here's the big key component here too, right? How can the proceeds be used? Short answer, bottom bullet point, for anything. They are completely unrestricted. So once again, think your car, think about your house. If you were to sell your car or sell your house, you can use the money that you get from that sale for anything you want, right? It's the same thing with your life insurance policy. So pay for medical expenses, pay for home modifications, pay for home care, pay for whatever, do a little bit of both, take it around the world cruise. It doesn't matter. You can use the money for anything that you want. And I'll have people all the time ask me, my goodness, Lisa, I've never heard of this. Is this legal? And, because it sounds like it's a new thing for me. It's been legal since 1911 in a Supreme Court decision called Grigsby versus Russell. Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes, in that decision, deemed your life insurance policy as an asset, like we've been talking about. So that's why he's the one who said your life insurance policy is an asset like your car or your house. You can transfer that asset to anybody you want, anytime you want. And indeed, I can transfer my life insurance policy today to Tara. Don't tell my husband, but I can do that. And it's just a signature on a change of ownership form. And that's almost like signing a pink slip. It's the same thing. But fast forward, nothing happens in the market until the AIDS epidemic, and people with AIDS started selling their policies to get experimental treatments, or maybe, take that last round the world cruise. But back then it was unregulated. So fast forward to the mid 90s, there's now an association called Life Insurance Settlements Association, lisa.org. I love it. And today we are very highly regulated by departments of insurance across the country. So 1, very legal, Grigsby versus Russell. 2, highly regulated by departments of insurance. nationwide. And this is probably the big question, right? For that you might be asked is, how much can a policy be worth? Here, I'll tell you the short answer. It could be worth zero. It could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. It could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I've sold $1 million policy for $360,000. I've sold $1 million policy for $70,000, and I have $1 million policy I can't sell. So what's the difference? When the investor groups are looking at this, they're looking primarily at three different things. One is, what's the premium that they're going to have to pay? For how long? What do they think someone's life expectancy is? And what is the benefit that they're going to get? Those are the three components. So when we think about that, the lower the premium, the more money they're willing to pay for a policy. The shorter someone's life expectancy, the more money they're willing to pay for the policy. So the difference between those three policies I was telling you about was life expectancy primarily. So we sell policies anywhere from $100,000 and above. So I've sold a $100,000 policy for $35,000 right now. I've got a $100,000 policy I'm selling for $5,000. It just depends upon the policy and the client. And this is a 3 to 5 month process. So think real estate, think your house. The good news is that there is no upfront fee. There's no application fees. It literally is a no cost evaluation or obligation to find out how much a policy is worth. The reason it takes so long is that we have to get medical records. And the reason for that is how the investor groups evaluate what they think someone's life expectancy is. So most of the time, it takes us about 60 to 90 days from the time we do get an application in, once again, no cost application, to find out how much an investor group is willing to offer on a policy. Most of that time is obtaining the doctor's records. I've gotten them in a week. And if they come in a week, then it's probably about a 30-day process. So we do 1 through 4. If an offer is made on a policy, a client can say, yes, I want to take that, or no, I don't want to take that. So not obligated to take any offers that we receive. And if you do receive an offer and you want to move forward, we literally go into escrow like a house to protect the clients while we go through the process. So once again, typically 3 to 5 months. Once again, very transparent process. Everybody knows what's going on. We do earn commissions very much like a real estate agent, but they are disclosed. Clients need to sign off on that. Also, beneficiaries need to sign off, because we don't want mom or dad to pass away and the kids go, hey, whatever happened to mom's life insurance policy that she told us about 5 years ago? And it turns out mom sold the policy 3 years ago, right? We don't want that to happen. So that does not happen in this world. Very transparent. Beneficiaries have to sign off. And a doctor letter is also very important, that the client is of sound mind, or their power of attorney is of sound mind to complete the process. So I realized that was very, very fast. That was a very short 15 minutes, but the bottom line here is that we are here to help clients benefit from their unwanted or unneeded life insurance policies. And that's key: unwanted, unneeded. That the process is free from a perspective of finding out how much your policy is worth. No one is obligated to take that. Any offers we receive. And if we don't get offers or you don't like them, then you just walk away. Literally, it has taken someone about 15 minutes of time to fill out an application. That is it. And we're here to be of service. It's a privilege to be of service. And I'm hoping that this is a new opportunity for you to see that there's funding that can be happening from a source that very, very few people know about. So that's my presentation. And I'm going to stop share right now and allow Tara to take over. So how fast did I talk there, Tara?
That was really good. And we still have some time left over, which is awesome. Lisa came to our Orange County chapter and spoke in, I think, 2019. And beforehand, I was thinking, oh, this sounds so shady. And then afterwards, it was like, oh, this is a perfect resource for our toolbox to take care of seniors and help them age in place. So we do have a couple questions from Kathy Jacobs.
Please.
Hi, Kathy. What is the tax impact of this?
Good question. So I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not a CPA or a tax professional, right? That's my caveat, but I do have articles that I can send you. Here's the answer though. The premiums that are paid into a policy are a basis. So if the settlement is underneath the basis, and many times it is, there's not going to be any taxes. So once again, think your house. If you buy your house for 100,000 and you sell it for 50,000, you're not going to have any taxes, right? If you buy your house for 100,000 and you sell it for 150,000, there's going to be capital gains taxes on top of that. That is typically how it works. Good question.
Awesome. Great. We have one more question real quick. And also when we are done, if you could put your contact information in the chat box so everyone will have that afterwards. Gina, hi Gina. What might the Medicaid impact be?
Okay, so that's a good question as well. That is a question for elder law attorneys, but you are right, because clients will be 1099 on the proceeds. Now, I have spoken to elder law attorneys who say they know how to handle this. That is their purview, not mine, but the client will be 1099. So you are right, there could be impacts to government funding, but I would talk to an elder law attorney, once again, who knows how to take care of that. But good question.
Great. So if anyone else has questions, you can meet with Lisa in the breakout room afterwards. Although I do have a quick yes or no from Ronnie in Atlanta. Hi, Ronnie. Do you shop clients' policies to more than one organization? That's a quick question.
Yes, we're like real estate agents. So we have about 30 investor groups that we work with, and our job, our fiduciary duty as a life settlements broker is to represent our client and get the most amount of money for their policies that we can. And we don't have time here, but I'm going to give you one example. So the $250,000 term policy for a client, our opening offer was $115,000. By the time we were done is $128,500. So that's an example of the work that we do. So good question. I'll put my information in the chat box. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lisa. So we will move on to our next presenter, Natalie with STACKCARE. I met Natalie through LinkedIn, and she's such a lovely person to talk to. I'm so glad we connected. And I also have the STACKCARE system in my in-laws' house, and I know everything about my father-in-law's bathroom habits. So I'm going to need to readjust those app notifications. But Natalie, I'll turn it over to you and let you tell us all about the STACKCARE program.
Okay, well, thank you very much for inviting us. We're very happy to be here. I will start sharing my screen and just dive right into the presentation. So, okay, there we go. So anyway, before I start, I want to give you a quick definition of what STACKCARE is. It is a next generation remote monitoring system for seniors and for vulnerable people. And I will explain all the details about that, but it really does make a big difference. It's the new thing versus, the old PERS systems, the old alarm systems that we all still use. Anyway, let me just move on and start right away with where it is. Nigel? I'm sorry. Technical issues. There we go. So who are we? STACKCARE was, it's a software company from Silicon Valley in California. But in the meantime, we have expanded all over the US, all over Canada. We're also now in England. We have, we just launched our English affiliate, and we're growing internationally into Europe and wherever we can. Anyway, so we are really committed to making seniors live a healthier and a better life, more safe by using these IoT technologies. And oops, I just wanted to show you how it works. So what is STACKCARE? What does it look like? That's a little bit more the technological side. Basically, it is 3 motion sensors, infrared motion sensors which send motion data through the cloud, through our cloud into through our AI system, using data science to detect all unusual events or problems. In other words, the motion sensors get installed in different parts of the house. I will go more into details, detect the motion, and then that motion gets analyzed, and the results of that get pushed out to the caregivers' apps. Sorry. Okay. So this is what you will get in the box with STACKCARE. You have a gateway, which is a 4x4-inch gateway, the motion sensors, of which you have 3, which get installed in the bedroom, bathroom, and the favorite room, as well as the option to also have contact sensors for the main entrance door or for the fridge door, and help buttons, which can be installed all over the house. These optional sensors are more for the professional home care agencies. However, they do, work also for the at-home product. I have jumped right in, but wanted to say also that STACKCARE serves 3 different areas. We are in the at-home market to monitor seniors who live and age in place. We are also with the CCRC communities, which is where we started, the more professional communities, and we also work with home care agencies. The beauty of STACKCARE is that it is truly passive. There is nothing to wear, nothing to do, no buttons to press, no cameras, no microphones. It's completely private. It's very discreet. And it is really wonderful for the senior that they don't have to actually actively do anything versus, for instance, the emergency buttons that people use. This is, what the screens will look like. So what happens is that we monitor the key areas of activities, the bedroom, bathroom, and the favorite room. And we check what's going on. After the system has been installed for a few days, we have established a baseline that's basically 24 to 48 hours where we actually understand a person's habits and routines. And anything that is outside of the range of the person's routines will get sent out via an alert, a notification to caregivers, mobile devices, family mobile devices, and several people can have the app on their phone and see what's happening with mom or dad. And also what can happen is if you have several in-laws which require care, you can have several people on the app, that you have, when you have the system installed, and a drop-down menu, as you can see, the one all the way on the right will show you what that looks like. We monitor, as I said, sleep and bathroom activity. We also monitor room temperatures and overall activity patterns. And all these things are key indicators of health because, as you probably know, 80% of falls, for instance, happen at night or in the early morning, and having a bedroom monitor or monitors also in the bathroom where you can actually see if there's an issue that you will get notified will be very, a great help. This is what the screens look like, the app. So you have, for instance, all the way on the left, the sleep screen, which will show you over a time of 7 days, how many hours a person sleeps. And all this data is, as I always like to say, non-judgmental. It doesn't matter how much a person likes to sleep, whether it's a lot of hours or not, but what matters is the changes, and that's what we monitor. That's what our system detects with its artificial intelligence. For instance, if a person does use the bathroom 5 times a night, that's fine, no problem, nobody cares. But what matters is then if all of a sudden one night they will use the bathroom 10 or 12 times, then our system will send out an alert and say, there's probably an issue here, there might be an UTI, or something you might want to check that your mom or dad is okay. The same with the activity, also being able to look at the screen and basically see what's happening at what time of the day in which room is very reassuring on one hand, and also very useful, because if you might worry, but you haven't heard anything from mom or dad, but you can actually open the app and see inside the app where the last activity was. I always find that is a very reassuring feature, just to feel somewhat connected, especially in these times where we can't even be that close to our loved ones. Another screen that we really like is the temperature screen. For instance, last year during the heat wave, we got multiple alerts of heat, where the senior hadn't, well, obviously in California, for instance, you don't even have air conditioning, but that there might be an issue. And as we all know, seniors can really get hypo or hyperthermia. We also had the case where somebody had left a window open in the middle of the winter and the temperature dropped by literally 40 degrees, and the alert was sent out that there was an issue, and somebody could go and intervene and actually, take care that the person wasn't going to get too cold. We also have a kitchen screen, which also shows you the activity, whether the person uses the kitchen. As we know, malnutrition is also an issue with many seniors. I have it in my own family. My father stopped eating a few months ago. Fortunately, he's not alone, but was he to live alone, we would be able to see that there's an issue that he's not opening the fridge, he's not going into the kitchen as much as he should, which again can be a big cause of health concerns for seniors. Another feature that we really like is the daily update. Every morning at 10:30, you will get a daily update, which will show you in a positive way that everything is fine, or if not, it will also tell you that, but it is a very useful feature in the daytime activities to see, oh, my mom is okay, she slept well, she used the bathroom the normal amount of time, etc. So did you just get that kind of peace of mind that directly to your phone, you get that notification, or to your watch. That's another option, or to any mobile device that you have. Everything is fine, which really is very useful. The notifications, we have various types of notifications which get sent out. And so I was saying the system, on one hand, the beauty of it is that it's passive. On the other hand, for the user, the real magic is that you don't have to always look inside the app. You can do that at any time of the day, but you will get notified when there's an issue. And depending on the notification, some of these notifications are almost instant. As an example, for instance, we have the nighttime activity monitor, which is, and all these notifications, by the way, are customizable. So you can customize them according to your needs, what the senior habits are, etc. And for instance, the nighttime activity monitor would be where the person has not been detected in the bedroom, and that can be customized down to 15 minutes. So if the person isn't detected, that might mean that they have had an issue in another part of the house and they have not made it into their bedroom, when usually, let's say, between midnight and 5 in the morning, they're in their bedroom and they have not been detected. So we will get an alert. Also, whether the exterior door has opened. As we know, some seniors like to wander or elope, which can also be a real issue, and that will send out a notification to your mobile device. The nighttime bathroom usage, that's a very big and important one, because many, if a senior is, if a person in general is in the bathroom for more than 30 minutes, the majority of times in the middle of the night, that indicates a big issue, that there's a problem. And getting that notification after the person has been in there for 15 minutes and has not come out might mean that maybe they're fallen or they're unconscious or something. And the person who is on the app, the family caregiver, will receive that notification. Mom or dad have been in the bathroom for 15 minutes. Something is wrong. Maybe you should go check, for over 15 minutes. Now, this is only during the night. Of course, during the daytime, and that's the thing with the artificial intelligence, in the daytime, you will not get these notifications, because that might mean that the person has maybe taken an hour to take a shower or something. So this is strictly for the nighttime usage. And also, if they spent a long time in there, in total, because they keep going to the bathroom and spending a long time, they definitely might have a health issue, or also a large amount of visits. All these things will be, we will send out notifications. And the daytime notifications are, a little bit different, because the needs are different, but we do have the up and about check, which shows if the person is not up and about as usual, as we all, when you know that your mom or dad are getting their breakfast at a certain time and so on, and nothing is happening, then you might want to get that notification that there's an issue. Bathroom usage would be, again, during the daytime is just as crucial as during the nighttime, in the sense of possible UTIs or other issues that they are maybe using the bathroom excessively. We have the day activity monitor, which is also a great feature, that if the person, again, all this is customizable, but we've had it where somebody fell outside when getting the mail and wasn't detected in the house, and after an hour, or we can even customize that less than that, but the system will send out a notification to the family members or the caregivers. Nobody is detected in the house, when actually they should be at home and there should be motion in the house. So it's very useful. And temperature warnings, again, as I mentioned, and again, also the kitchen usage. The help button is a new feature that we have just introduced, which is also a great feature. Although we say our system is passive and we put up motion sensors, but it is, in some cases, some people do want to have that option and that possibility to press a button, and that button will send out an alert within 3 to 7 seconds to the family or caregiver. They will know immediately there's an issue, and we recommend to install these help buttons at level that can be reachable, maybe a foot or two above the ground in different rooms, or by the bed, or by the toilet, depending. I mean, that is really, again, I also would like to mention that the system is extremely easy to install. I didn't say that at first. There's no installation required. The sensors and all these, and the help button, for instance, get attached to the wall with a command strip, and the gateway gets plugged in, installation, and then you just, load up the app, download the app, and then you just install it within 10 to 15 minutes. So basically, most people can do it. Maybe not your 89-year-old mom, but the majority of people that would install that for their parents are absolutely able to do it very easily.
Can I jump in with a couple of questions for you real quick?
Sure.
Meredith is asking if you can purchase additional sensors for each room.
You can, but we would like to then guide you to our support, to our page, and then we will quote and recommend that individually. On our website currently, we offer the basic set with three sensors and the gateway. We sell that for, well, the hardware is basically on a lease basis, so we provide the hardware, but we do ask a $39.95 per month subscription, and at times you can even get down to basically $1 a day to monitor your family, your elderly loved one. But if you want extra sensors or help buttons and so on, we recommend to get in touch via our info at STACKCARE page, and then we will give you a precise quote for that. So
great. And then, is Wi-Fi required for the data transmission?
It currently is, but we are about to launch the LTE version within the next few months. So I don't have an exact date yet. Our engineers are working very, very hard on that.
And also, these are from Kathy. The first question was from Meredith. Thank you, ladies, for your question. Is power required, battery backup, and can it be tied to a medical assistance?
So battery, there's no power required for the sensors. The battery runs up to for 2 years, and also within the app you can look at the different devices, and you will always see at what level the battery is, whether it's still in good condition or whether it's maybe getting low, and then you get an early warning ahead of time before the battery runs out. So that's definitely not a concern. And what was the other question? Sorry.
Can it be tied to a medical assistance?
So what do you mean by that? Like a service that would come and help the senior person?
I think so. Kathy, can you give us some clarification? Is that what you were referring to?
I would answer yes, because I was also saying, we also work with home care agencies and so on. And absolutely, you can put basically anybody on the app. And if you have a person, a doctor, and they're willing to do it, that's not an issue at all. Several people can be on the app. Several people can have the app on their phone for one person. In other words, you can share the app with your siblings, with a caregiver, with a medical person, or whoever you choose.
Great. And she did clarify that was the question. And does the gateway have a battery backup as well?
It does not, but it plugs in.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's I'm sorry I interrupted you there before your presentation was over, but I know some of those questions
It's great.
Questions for a lot of people. So if there's anything else you want to add real quick before closing, and then if anyone else wants to learn more, they can join you in the breakout room.
Yes. So I would like to add something, because I think that's actually an interesting point, the gateway with the battery backup. Probably people are thinking about when there's a power out. So our system will actually send out a notification saying that the sensors are offline. And we had the situation, for instance, one of our testimonials that I also have put under this presentation was saying, he got a notification and say the system is offline, but it was because there was a power out. and he could go and see what was happening and basically help out his grandmother and make sure that everything was fine and the power was back on. But that way he actually knew that there was an issue where she might never have, you might not have had that knowledge that she needed, you know, that she didn't have any power. The lady is 94, so.
Yeah, nice. Well, thank you so much. I think I mentioned at the beginning, my father-in-law, you know, he has this. It was so easy to set up, and it is really nice to know when there's a lack of activity that I can call real quick and make sure that there's nothing wrong. So thank you for sharing. And if you all have any additional questions for Natalie about the STACKCARE system, you can do that in the breakout room after. Our final, oh, sorry.
I wasn't completely done.
I know, I'm so
Oh.
sorry. So you can show the rest of that presentation in the breakout room and then we
Okay.
can ask you additional questions.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
So our final presenter today is part of our San Francisco chapter, Rains. Thank you so much for joining us. I know we've had so many questions about your organization, which is the Gray Panthers. So I will go ahead and turn it over to Rains. And thanks for joining us, Rain.
Thank you, Tara, and thank you, Natalie. I've actually been having discussions with a neighbor looking for exactly those kind of tools. So appreciating these calls and bringing the topics together and surfacing things we might not otherwise get time to. And I'll be sharing in the different ways, so I'm not going to do a screen share. So if you want to see me big, switch to presenter view, or if you want to see the whole field of faces, switch to gallery view. It'll be your choice. You'll see the slides up behind me at times. Hi, I'm Rains, a community organizer in Berkeley, California, and among other things, been involved in the Gray Panthers, an organization with a storied history in the field of aging. I got into this through a book I wrote a chapter in called Audacious Aging, and writing about, okay, what are these different people taking on different ways, and discovered things like the Elders Guild, people, activists, and trying to map out what's this whole elder leadership look like. How do people actually participate and bring things together? And ended up being brought in to help lead the local chapter of the Gray Panthers, which was a national organization and then separate chapters, and now a bunch of independent locals but are doing things cooperatively together. And yeah, it started way back. Maggie Kuhn in the 70s, when she was being forced to retire at 65, and we forget how recent some of these innovations have been, and some of the people that have brought them about are still with us, and we're building on their legacy of able to say, no, why should we be forced to retire, and how can we be active? And in particular, people forget about this organization. It was age and youth in action together. So not just about, oh, we're a bunch of old people, the stereotype of ARP, we're going to dominate your politics or take over or whatever. But people saying, hey, let's work together. These were, in fact, in some cases, some of the little old ladies that would sit between the police and the Black Panthers at the time. And so an early version of some of what we're seeing of late of Black Lives Matter and engaging to make a difference. An example of the kind of people we've been focusing on and supporting locally. Ann Fagan Ginger, founder of the Mecklenburg Civil Liberties Institute, fighting for universal right to shelter and rights of homeless. Here she is in a protest action at Berkeley City Council meeting, I believe, and supporting these things. It's people together saying, hey, how do we make a difference? How can we not just get our own needs met, but collectively going together and change the system, change the laws, locally, lobby locally, or even regionally or nationally, and change the system and bring about new products and services and regulatory frameworks that make more possible, that bring more protection to the field and bring more consciousness. One of the longest active chapters I'll pull up here, myself out of the way, is in Long Beach, California. They've been at it for 45 years, and basically campaigning on Medicare for all and saying, yes, it's awfully, as everybody here knows, complicated and expensive to navigate the system. Can we just bring it all for everybody? Here's a city council member speaking with the group. And, being very active in LGBT aging and, it's bringing about change and trying to reach across on many different issues. And San Francisco, we're a nearby chapter that's active. But here, let me pull up a couple more pieces, and I'll just put myself back in the picture. So here we go. So yeah, it's we often in our work, it's easy for us to just think about elders as customers or elders as patients or people to be cared for or watched for. But if I'm learning anything in this work, the Elders Guild and other groups, elders still can have a role in our society in leadership and community and basic their lifetime of experience in making a difference in moving things forward and having a vision of the future, just from being able to project back from life experience and say, oh, we might have been here before. There might be some lessons we can learn from what's going on, and especially to reach across the ages and not just be shoehorned into one place or parked in an elder park, but say, how do we, take on roles, as not just a senior, but an elder or even a sage, as the saging group I work with. Look, can we get past our, worry about ourselves into this bigger question of working with people, of relating in interesting ways, and holding the culture, being the storytellers, keeping the rituals alive, having this greater sense of purpose and connection. And and really potentially to build the bridges. There's been a lot of international work being done by elders to say, can we come and help monitor your election or help warring tribes talk to each other? And of course, a long history of activism across the ages, whether it's in mediation, in watching out, the voice of experience, you're bringing about social change in different ways. And I think I'll leave that piece and just go back to the sort of the activism that can make a difference. There's been a national council of Grey Panther networks organized by the folks in Detroit that have kept it going. And most of the most active clusters in New York, actually, the Grey Panthers has been continuing their work with the status with the United Nations, and so we're actually recognized and forming a part of directing treaties and gatherings and summits. And I certainly know locally here in Berkeley, and I have to say in my mid-50s, is brought in on the younger side of the spectrum of helping people who have a long time been standing up in different ways in community organizing, particularly work with the affordable housing and helping people navigate changes there in the system, and the rights of landless peoples, even organizing my work in co-housing neighborhoods, like, the same techniques can help people on the streets. And there's a lot we can learn from them about their low impact lifestyles and how we can help them in ways that give them autonomy, like recognize them as people and not just a problem to be managed, but giving people that voice. It's so important. And this is a core part of the Panther philosophy of taking time to listen, taking time to connect, building in respect, and that level of caring. And so I encourage people to reach out, look for a chapter near you, or reach out to some of the existing chapters to find out about help for getting one going. There's a lot of ways that we've had service providers come in and talk, and local government people, and just lots of sharing sessions of people on the street. There's a lot to be learned from just hearing what people's actual needs are and how we can work together to meet them. So I really encourage people to make the most of that. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today. I did not see any questions pop up for you just yet in the chat box, but if there's anyone that has questions, let me know. Just send that my way. We'll prepare for the breakout rooms. This is going to be a first time for us, so kind of let's all roll with the punches here. I think if you have the most recent version of Zoom, it will pop up and allow you to pick which breakout room you'd like to choose. If you choose not, or if you are unable to, send me a message or just unmute yourself and let us know which room you want to go to. That means you have an older version and we're just going to manually place you in there. So that's really the conclusion of our program. So thank you all for joining us. I hope to see you again at future events, and enjoy your breakout rooms. I'll put my information here in the chat box as well. If anyone wants to talk to me or has any questions or topic ideas for future events, please send it my way. And then I think, Jessica, we're ready for the breakout rooms.